It's a thing.
That's what we did, do like a year after the construction. We did the
Next
year.
Oh, yeah.
That's the next year problem. Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna get started, even though there is someone else signed up, but.
Let me just.
Okay, so. Good morning, everyone. We're in the middle of eclipse season, as you guys probably know from being in my class, which means smack dab in the middle of the the solar and the lunar eclipse. And so this morning, I decided to draw a tarot card for our theme today to see, like, what else should I teach about in relationship to this energy that we're all in. And what I pulled was the 10 of Wands, which maybe you can see. I can pass it around if you guys want.
I'll do this for everybody at home.
Yeah, you can just pass it and then I'll grab it later. And so the image is someone carrying an armload of 10 wands or staffs.
You said 10 of Wands.
Yeah,
Yeah, I need to work on my pronunciation a little bit more. Wands. And this is a card that shows the energy of being burdened, right? This is someone who's carrying the weight of the whole world, all of the things in their arms, and walking them somewhere. And so sometimes the medicine or the advice for this card is to delegate, right? To look into see, is there someone else who can carry some of this stuff? Or is what's in your arms, is it worth carrying? Is there anything that maybe you're holding on to that's not serving you that you could put down? And that really speaks to the energy of eclipse season in general. It's really, and especially this one, it's really about what can we let go of? What can we release? What can we unburden from ourselves? And what can we let go of, not just for that weight and burden to be lessened, but also to relinquish the grip of control, right? Like, well, I have to carry all of these. Who else is going to carry? No one will carry them as good as me. I have to be the one to do it. And man, does that really speak to me in a way I wish it didn't. So we'll work with that a little bit today on our mat. So you can take a nice comfortable seat, sit up nice and tall and close your eyes. And take a moment first to notice your seat on the ground. Feel your legs, your hips, your sitting bones, all connected to the earth beneath you. And let them get heavy and wide. Take a breath in and lengthen up through your spine and allow the crown of your head to rise up towards the sky. On your next inhale, float your shoulders up towards your ears, take them back and relax them down. And welcome your breath. See if you could soften your belly so that as you breathe in and out, the belly gently rises and falls with each inhale and with each exhale. And very subtly lean back, bring more weight to the backs of your sitting bones. And imagine that your entire back body can lean into the support of something greater than yourself. Make a little space between your lower jaw and your upper jaw. And let your tongue get heavy and wide on the lower palate of the mouth. And notice if simply by drawing your awareness and attention to your body and to your breath, and following these subtle, gentle cues to relax different areas of the body. If just these past few minutes have allowed you to release the burden of some stress you've been carrying. And then see if you could let go just a little bit more and release that layer of tension that rests on the surface of the skin. When we come to our yoga mat, not only do we set down everything that we've been carrying at the door when we come to this place of stillness, this space for our practice, but then we also begin to strip away these other burdens and stressors that maybe we didn't even realize we were holding on to. We start to practice exercising control where it's needed, controlling the breath, inhale and the exhale, controlling the way that we come into a posture, how long we stay, and then recognizing where we need to release and relinquish that control. When it starts to get in the way and we become resistant or we start gripping. So in every posture, there's this opportunity to channel that energy into something positive for our pose. And then to also practice letting go. And the more that we can do that here on our mat, then maybe the more apt we are to practice the same thing out in our lives. On your next inhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. I invite you to set an intention for your practice today. Perhaps it's just to embody this energy of the Ten of Wands. To not work so hard. To examine what it is that we're holding on to, what we're carrying on our shoulders and burdening ourselves with. To reevaluate that. And to intend that what's not in our highest good, what's no longer in alignment for our highest self, that will fall away, creating more space in our arms, in our two hands for us to hold. And then we'll seal in our intentions and begin our class with 3 cleansing breaths. Take a deep breath in. Let it go with a sigh. 2 more like that. Gently bow your head to your heart. Slowly open your eyes, release your hands. We're going to start down on our backs today. And we're going to move through a little bit of a chakra cleansing practice today to just energetically realign the body. So come on down onto your back, take a full body stretch, reach the arms overhead, lengthen from your fingers to your toes. See how this feels, what's going on in the body, if this feels good and relaxing, if you feel uneven, or if there's any sensations of discomfort. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, hook your right knee into your chest. Put a little pressure here on the knee as you draw it in towards the chest, and see that it's not moving over to the right towards your armpit. Keep it more in line with your collarbone and the right side of your neck. Take your shoulders back and down, and let the entire line of your back body, every part of the body that's touching the ground, let that get a little heavier, a little more grounded. So here we start to just open up the root chakra at the base of the spine, down by the perineum. If this chakra is out of balance, then our foundation is unstable, and everything else gets a little wonky too. It's just working to ground our energy. The more we can squeeze and hug the right knee into the chest, the better. Kind of blocking and damming up the blood flow so that new, fresh, oxygenated blood can get circulated there. Then go ahead and take your right knee into your left hand. Bring your right arm out to the side. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, come into a twist. Guide your knee across your body over to the left. You can take your gaze out over your right shoulder. Check and make sure that your right hip isn't hiking up towards your rib cage. Press that down and away. If your right shoulder pops up, just rest your right hand on your right rib cage. Couple of breaths here. Inhale, come back up through center. Extend your right leg up to the sky. Interlace your hands behind your right thigh. So not by your knee, slide it down a little bit so that you're in the belly of your hamstring muscles. And then press your thigh into your hands. Start to hug your leg back in towards your body. Work the leg towards straight as you press up through your right heel. So really activating your leg here. Even if the knee stays bent, press up through your heel. Breathe. Notice the distribution of weight on the low back. See if you can level that out. Once again, check in with your shoulders. The tendency here is for the heads of the arm bones to round forward, for the chest to close off and get shorter. See if you can take the shoulder blades onto the back of the heart. Keep the front of the chest broad and expansive. And then point and flex your foot. Notice what's happening in your ankle, in the back of your calf muscle. You can circle your foot in one direction and then the other. And then point your toes. Release the clasp of your hands. Bring your arms down by your sides with your palms face down on the ground. Draw your navel in towards your spine. Reach your toes up towards the ceiling and then slowly lower your leg all the way down to the ground, extending and lengthening out of your hip. And then once your leg comes down, pause and see if there's a difference in each side of your body. Then inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, hug your left knee into your chest. And same thing here, we're just gonna focus on squeezing the leg in towards the body, putting some pressure on the top of the left thigh. Notice where your knee is tracking. Send your breath into any spaces that might feel tight, like your hip flexor, top of your thigh, even your knee. Relax the shoulders back and down. Notice where you're gripping or trying to control in this pose. For many of us, this shows up in the jaw. So see if you could relax the lower jaw away from the upper jaw and check in with your tongue. So in every pose, there's this opportunity. Where do we need more control? Can we hug the leg in? Can we align our body in such a way that the energy can optimally flow while we're in this shape? We find the best position for our body in this moment. And then where can we let go? Where can we surrender and release the weight of what we're carrying? This balance of effort and ease. Then take your left knee in your right hand, bring your left arm out to the side. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, guide your knee across your body as you come into your twist. Roll onto your outer right hip. Notice if your left hip is hiking up towards your rib cage, towards your stomach, press that away. If the left shoulder pops up off the ground, just rest your hand on your left rib cage. Maybe you gaze out over your left shoulder to complete the twist. See if you could keep your right leg, the leg that's extended on the ground, active. Press out through your heel. Go ahead and inhale, come back through center. Extend your left leg up to the sky and interlace your hands behind your left thigh. Take care not to be behind the knee. Slide your hands down and then press your thigh into your hands. Use your hands to hug the leg back in towards your body. Check in with your shoulders. Press up through your heel. Notice where there's tension and tightness, where there's lines of energy that feel stagnant or tight. And then see if you could soften into it and use your breath to stay grounded and present. Point and flex your foot. You can circle your ankle in one direction and then the other. And then point your toes. Release your arms down by your sides with your palms face down. Connect your hands into the ground. Then reach your toes up towards the ceiling a little bit more. Lengthen your leg out of your hip as you slowly lower it all the way down, keeping your core engaged as you go. Just take a moment and pause here. You can turn your palms face up. Little mini Shavasana for just a couple breaths. And then go ahead and bend your knees, place your feet on the ground. Then take the soles of your feet together, your knees wide in Supta Baddha Konasana. You can place blocks under your thighs if you need a little support here. Arms could stay down by your sides, or you could place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Really, any arm position that you're called to experiment with is fine here. So we begin to move into the second chakra, the sacral chakra. As we start to open up the hips and create more space in the pelvis. See where you could lean into the earth here. If the pose is too intense, you could always come out or use the support of the blocks. But otherwise, you see if you could practice this art of letting go with every exhale, little shedding. Inhale your knees back up to center. Take your arms into a cactus shape. Backs of the hands on the ground, elbows are in line with your shoulders, wrists are over your elbows. And then bring your legs up into a tabletop shape here, so that your knees are right over your hips, your ankles are in line with your knees. Squeeze your knees in towards each other. Draw your low belly in a lot so that you feel your sacrum, that lower part of your pelvis and back press down into the ground. And then you're just going to take your knees gently over to the right. So this is really about engaging the core and not about how much you're twisting. You can look over your left shoulder. Pause once you find your edge. A couple breaths. Working into the solar plexus chakra. Inhale, come back up through center. Exhale slowly over to the left. Both shoulders stay rooted, both knees squeeze in towards each other. It doesn't have to be a big twist. Keep your core engaged, belly button draws in towards your spine. Gaze out over your right shoulder. Inhale back up to center. Hug your knees into your chest. You can give yourself a little massage here on your low back. And then go ahead and roll to your right side, come all the way up to sit. Find a comfortable seat here. It can be any seated position that works for your body. You can use props or not. It's up to you. And then wherever you are, we'll move into a little seated cat-cow. So if your hands are just on your knees, you'll inhale and arch your back, take your gaze up. Exhale, round your back, draw your chin into your chest. Move with your breath here. Focusing on the heart center. We start to back bend, and around. Just working up the energy centers of the body here. Just a few more. And then inhale, come back to a neutral spine. Bring your arms down by your sides, come up onto your fingertips, they touch the ground. Pick your shoulders up, back and down. Reach up through the crown of your head, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Notice so a couple things tend to happen when we start to work the neck. One is that maybe your shoulders start to move up towards your ears, keep them down. The other is that maybe you started to arch through your side body. See if you could keep both lengths of the side body long and equal. And then you could kind of play here with the position of your chin. Maybe it feels good to tilt the chin up a little, or bring it down into your chest. And you could stay just like this, especially if you have any neck issues or a lot of tightness. Or you could inhale your right arm up in line with your ear and then bend your elbow and just gently bring your fingertips towards your ear to add in a little pressure and stretch, but it is not necessary. One more thing to notice here is if your rib cage is popping forward, keep your ribs knit into your body. So typically, as human beings, we will always avoid areas of tension and tightness in the body and instead exploit our areas of flexibility. So this means utilizing control to see where we can stabilize so that we can actually access and release those areas of tension that actually need to let go. You can go ahead and release your hand on your ear if you have it, and inhale your head back up to center. Just take a moment and pause here. So begin to open up the throat chakra. Take a breath in, reach up through the crown of your head, and exhale your left ear towards your left shoulder. There may be one side of your neck that's a much different experience than the other. Few breaths here, checking in to make sure that the body is staying stable and neutral where it needs to, and focusing on accessing just the tension in the neck, just the area of the throat. You could play with the position of your chin, and then decide here if you want to inhale your left arm up, bend your elbow, use your hand on the right side of your head. Breathe. In yoga, our control will show up by holding the breath, by tensing the jaw, furrowing the brow, squinting the eyes. Or always the fun part of going down a rabbit hole in the mind. A few more breaths here. And inhale your head back up to center. Inhale, sweep your arms up, palms up, reach up. Exhale, bring your arms back down, palms face away as your arms lower. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, release. Once more, inhale. And exhale. Okay, we'll be here for just another moment in a brief seated meditation. So if you need to adjust your seat at all, now's a good time. And then close your eyes. And bring your inner gaze up towards your third eye, to the space right at the center of your forehead. and then in towards the center of your brain. So it may kind of feel like you're rolling your eyes up into your head. And if that brings anxiety or doesn't feel good for any reason, you can of course not do it. And then you'll bring your index finger and your middle finger together and just tap, tap, tap right on your third eye. Just a gentle little tapping in the center of your forehead. Activate and stimulate your third eye. Notice what this changes. And then you can tap, tap, tap up to the top of your head. Activating the crown chakra. And then tap, tap, tap back down to your third eye. And then bring your hands down your nose to that little space right between your nose and your upper lip. We'll tap there. And then jump over your mouth and tap, tap, tap on your chin. And then right at the base of your throat. And down to your chest, to your heart. And that's where we'll stop. So once it feels good to release the tapping, you can do that. And then imagine that as you inhale, you draw a little bead, a ball of white light down from the crown of the head, straight down to the base of the spine on the inhale. And as you exhale, the ball of light moves back up from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. So inhale, light moves down. Exhale, light moves up. Few more breaths like that. Clearing out the central channel. And then you can release and make your way into downward facing dog. First down dog class, maybe of the day, maybe of the week. So take your time getting into the shape, and then you can pedal out through your legs, bend your knees in the opposite heel towards the ground. Then inhale, walk your feet forward to meet your hands, and exhale as you fold down over your legs. You can keep your knees bent, or you can use your blocks here. See if you can keep the weight even over the arches of your feet, not sinking weight back into your heels. And then as you inhale, lengthen to a flat back, reach out through the crown of your head. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold back in. One more. Place your hands, come back into downward facing dog. Right leg lifts as you inhale. Exhale, lunge your foot forward up in between your hands. Right knee is over your right ankle. Keep your left hand down, inhale, sweep your right arm up as you twist. Press up through your left thigh, hug your legs in towards each other. Curl your right shoulder back, open up through your heart. Find that full line of energy from the base of the spine through the crown of the head. Exhale, release your hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Options to stay here in down dog, come into child's pose, or move through a vinyasa, your choice, whatever best matches your energy. You'll find your way back into downward facing dog. Left leg lifts as you inhale. Lunge it forward as you exhale. Find your high lunge with your left knee over your ankle. Press up through your back thigh. Keep your right hand down. Inhale, sweep your left arm up as you twist. So Diane, other way.
Oh, oops.
There you go. Keep pressing your right thigh high to the sky, Susan. Curl your shoulder back. Again, find that long line of energy all the way from the base of the spine through the crown of the head. More space, more length. Breathe. Exhale, release. Step back into downward facing dog. Same options here. This time we'll all end in child's pose. Child's pose, you'll have your knees wide, big toes together, forehead to the ground, or stack your fists. Whatever your forehead is resting on, draw your awareness to your third eye. You could even play with the positioning of your eyeballs. So much tension can be held in the eyeball sockets. So maybe you kind of roll your eyes up and look over to the right, up and over to the left. Just seeing if there's any tightness there, kind of exploring what's happening behind the eyes, behind our gaze, deep into the recesses of our own head. And then walk your hands over to the right until you get a stretch through your left side body. Come back to your center. Walk your hands over to the left until you get a stretch through your right side body. Inhale, come back to the center. Another couple of breaths here in child's pose. Inhale, walk your hands in. Then you're gonna come forward and lay down on your belly. And here, stack both forearms and rest your forehead on the top of that stack. So this is called crocodile. And notice that this helps to send the breath right into the diaphragm. So as you inhale, feel that the diaphragm expands. With every exhale, see if you can release. Go ahead and change the stack of your forearms. Couple of diaphragmatic breaths here. And then go ahead and roll over onto your back. Bend your knees, place your feet on the ground so that they're parallel, sitting bone or hip distance apart. Cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh. Flex your left foot. And notice that your knee can either be tracking in towards your body or further away. But then bring your awareness down into your hip joint where your femur bone comes into your pelvis. And see if from there you can move the knee away from your body, opening up the hip a little bit more. Level out the weight on your sacrum. Maybe you stay right here. This could be your pose. Or you could pick up your right foot and interlace your hands behind your thigh. And if you do, it's the same thing as the beginning of class, where you're not behind your knee. You slide your hands down. You press your thigh into your hands and use your hands to hug your leg back in. Relax your shoulders back and down. Breathe. We'll be here for about a minute. So see if there's anything that needs adjusting. And if there's not, then see what you could let go of. Go ahead and release this side. Take a pause in constructive rest. Feet are wider than your hips, knees knock in onto each other. And then we'll do the second side, bring your feet back to parallel. Cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh. Notice where your knee is without doing anything. And then bring your awareness down into your hip joint and see if you could track your knee away from your body by creating more space in the hip. And then from there, decide where this pose best serves you with your left foot on the ground, or you can pick up your foot and interlace your hands behind your thigh. Check in with all of the different parts of your body. And then once you find a position that you could hold for a length of time, a place that you could commit to be in, go ahead and begin to relax and to soften. Let's take a few more breaths here. And then go ahead and release. Find constructive rest once again, feet wide, knees knocked in onto each other. Then hug your knees into your chest. Roll over to your right side. Come on up and grab 2 blocks. We're going to set up for heart bench here. So 1 block will be, you could try starting out at a medium height. Yep, and then a block at the higher setting for your head. You'll come to sit with your knees bent, feet on the ground. Take an inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, lower yourself down onto the first block. You want this block on the thoracic part of the spine. So right behind the heart at the rib cage. If this feels too high, feels like you can't breathe, you could always drop your blocks down a setting. And then you can release your arms down by your sides with your palms face up. You can decide which shape of your legs you'd like to take. You can extend the legs long, keep knees bent, soles of the feet together, knees wide, feet wide, knees knocked. You decide. And then let the blocks hold the weight of your body. Let them do the work for you. When we use props, we practice letting go of all of those wands that we're carrying, this arm full of burdens, of sticks. Can we release some of the weight of what we're holding on to and
what we're carrying. And let ourselves be supported. Let ourselves be held. We'll be here for one more minute. Start to deepen your breath. And very slowly make your way off of your blocks, coming to pause, curled up on your right side. Roll onto your back. Take your arms out to a T or cactus. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Inhale here, exhale, drop both knees over to the right. Look out over your left shoulder. Inhale up through center, exhale, knees to the left, look out over your right shoulder, and move here with your breath. Couple rounds. Little gentle twists. Inhale, knees back up to center, hug your knees into your chest, and find happy baby, soles of the feet up towards the towards the sky, grab onto the pinky toe edges of your feet. And then whenever this pose feels complete for you, you can go ahead and make your way into Shavasana. Feet gently open to the side. Have your arms down by your sides with your palms face up. Take a full breath in. Let it go with a sigh. Release any excess weight that you're carrying to the earth. Letting yourself let go of any burdens. The earth will take that energy, will turn it into something new and rejuvenated. So here, completely let it go. Awareness back into your body as you wiggle your fingers, toes. Begin to make any small movements. You feel good on your body. And then reach your arms overhead, body stretch. Exhale, hug your knees into your chest. Hold to your right side. Pause here for a breath or two. Then in your own time, make your way back up to find a comfortable seat. Close your eyes and bring your hands together in front of your heart. And take a moment to honor yourself for your practice today. For coming into alignment with your highest self more closely than when you first stepped on your mat. For holding space for yourself to do this work of awareness, breath, energy work, and of clearing. And take a moment to honor all of those wands that you carry, all that you hold on to, and all that you've let go. And call back your intention that you set at the beginning of class. Let's end our class and seal in our intentions one final time with a cleansing breath. Deep breath in. And let it go with a sigh. Gently bow your head to your heart. The light within me recognizes and honors this very same light in each one of you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you all so much for your practice. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And Susan, you can stay, because we're going to do a Reiki meditation. If anybody else wants to join, more than welcome.
Thank you.